Showers up till around the lunchtime, and then the sun comes out. We'll make it up to 55, but we'll keep that north wind coming up to 30 at times. Expect pretty much the same tomorrow. It's 8:43. Lancaster City Manager Finley DeGraffin Reed and Ronnie Witcher coming up next.
Are you looking for a place to ride your horses or build your chickens that big new chicken coop?
Are you looking for a nice place to open up that family business you've been dreaming of?
Or are you looking for that forever home for your growing family? Well, whatever you're looking for, Vista Real Estate.
You can check out their inventory online at viewvistashomes.com.
Give their office a call at 512-564-5066.
Or just go and talk to Lisa and Jeff at 414 South Live Oak, right here in Lampasas. They might be new to the square, but they're longtime Lampasas native. Vista Real Estate, downtown on the square.
And good morning. I'm Ronnie Witcher, and with me, Lampasas City Manager Finley DeGraffin Reed. It's Finley on Wednesday, as we say around the radio station. Let's talk about the business and activity with the city of Lampasas. You had a meeting on Monday. Tell us what came out of that meeting.
We did. We had a meeting on Monday evening and took up a number of items. We normally have a workshop or more of a discussion session ahead of our regular business meeting, and spent some time and talked about an Eagle Scout project going on in Campbell Park and Cooper Spring Park, where a young man, Mr. Coonrod's going to be putting up some bat houses down there, and perhaps even in closer to the downtown area.
Just what we always wanted.
You know, I asked our parks director the other day. I said, "Now, how many pounds of bugs can bats eat?" And he says they can eat their own body weight. You know, just about every time they go out. So, I think that makes sense to me. I guess to get rid of some mosquitoes. But
I want you to promise to report on the first time one shows up in the city hall building.
I think we've solved that problem. We did have an issue down there for a while, but I think we've gotten rid of most of those that were in our place. Also spent some time and talked about possibility of developing some bike trails out at the 580 Sports Complex. We have about 120 acres of park out there that is basically not being used as left as a primitive and open space, and this might be a good way not only for our local enthusiasts, but it's also quite the destination attraction type of activity that we're seeing in Central Texas. And we did report to council as well. We had some great news. We refunded some of our bonds that we originally issued in 2012, and through the term of the bonds through 2036, we're able to save over $400,000. So,
wow!
Interest rates were once the bids came back, they were shockingly good. And of course, on the flip side, the earnings aren't great, but certainly when we refund, we saved a lot of money.
Yeah. All right.
And we get our weekly or our meeting update on the COVID activity in Lampasas County, and I think as of Friday we reported 8 active cases. However, talked with the fire marshal this morning, who works closely with Chief Smith on those numbers, and he said they believe they had 3 additional ones over the weekend and through Monday, so that would put us up to 11 active.
This is surprising to me because we hear so much about this spiraling upward everywhere else.
Well, and I think, you know, the bottom line message is we all need to continue to be diligent. I mean, wear your masks. You know, if you're not feeling well, stay home. Wash your hands. You know, to continue to do those things. But it wasn't 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think we had a spike of up to 34 or more active cases. But as those cases have come off, then you know we've gotten down to that sub 15 level of cases. Now, that's not to say in the next 3 or 4 days we could spike back up. So please stay diligent.
I think it's really important now in the face of all this for people to get their flu shots. How'd you like to get the flu and the COVID too?
Right.
That could really be serious, couldn't it?
Right. And I think, you know, you and I were talking before, use common sense. If I don't feel well, then I stay away from people, and if my wife knows I don't feel well, she stays away from me, and I stay away from her. So, just use some common sense, use some personal responsibility.
I'm afraid my wife is using that. Stay away from me. Okay. Need reports on a couple of things. As usual, we want to know about Avenue E. I haven't even tried to go down that street in a long time because I knew the construction was going on. Is that getting any closer?
You bet. I think they poured the last section, or they were scheduled to pour the last section of curb and gutter on Avenue E, which would have been towards the eastern part of that project yesterday or day before. So that, once they get that done, they will continue to compact the base material in there, add base as needed, and then they'll be ready to pave probably within the next 30 days.
We see a lot of activity on 580 West. Of course, things have been happening with a busted gas line and utilities, LCRA going across there. But also, you have a lot of development over on the right-hand side as you go out of town. Tell us what that is.
That is on track to be a residential subdivision. I believe it's about 25, 27 tracks, all greater than an acre. They have submitted their preliminary plat to the city, which has been approved, but I don't believe the final plat has been approved yet. But they are working with the city to try to get started on that project, here this fall, winter.
Very large lots.
Yes, yes. And that's interesting, and just so folks understand, it is outside the city limits, but is within our jurisdiction, so we approve the subdivision. We will be serving it water and electricity, so we have some greater regulatory authority over that than maybe if it had been further out.
What size houses are supposed to be built in that addition?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Do we have any developments east of Lampasas on 190 out in that ETJ out there that are building up anymore?
We haven't seen any in our ETJ at this point. We have seen a lot of build out and finishing and infill of the Sunrise Hills subdivision. So there's in fact, there's been quite a bit of building going on there. But in terms of new subdivisions, I don't believe we've seen a plat for new subdivisions to the east.
Okay. Kind of curiously, talking about the directions from town, we go north of Lampasas, north of the main part of town, and it seems like you see industrial kind of stuff going out that way. But if you go south out to Highway 281, of course, we've got the bowling alley, putters and gutters. And,
right.
And
we've got some residential development further, probably just over the Burnett County line out there as well.
So things going on all around town, but you can begin to see what's going to happen in certain directions, can't you?
Right.
That's interesting. Anything you need to point out to the folks?
Just a reminder to continue to be vigilant and watch out for contractors and workers in the area. We've got a lot of things going on in terms of not only city projects, but like I said, LCRA transmission lines. We've got some fiber projects currently going on. So just keep an eye out and watch for those orange vests out as you travel around town.
Thank you for coming in. Lampasas City Manager Finley DeGraffin Reed on the air every Wednesday morning. You're listening to KCYL KACQ Radio.
First State Bank of Burnett to be considered a true community bank. Since 1908, First State Bank of Burnett has played a major role in the economic growth of the Texas Hill Country. By focusing our banking efforts locally, area business have been able to grow as our community has grown. When your business is in need of banking services, come see what First State Bank of Burnett can do for you. First State Bank of Burnett, serving the Hill Country since 1908, member FDIC.
It's more than a radio station, it's an attitude. 1019